So my story, the very, very short version of my story, is that I was a grant proposal writer for over 10 years. I still do some of that. And I moved into animation with the idea that this is sort of similar. It's still very much about making the pitch. It's just making the pitch in a different format. And key things that they have in common quite strongly: to make a good video or to write a good, strong grant proposal, you really need a consistent storyline that flows through the whole thing. You need to be very organized and clear about what your message is, and everything needs to tie back to that message, although it doesn't always need to. With video, there's that element of suspense a bit more. It may not be clear until the end, like with your wonderful popcorn, with the example you guys used. It may not be clear until the end how it ties in. And then you need to do that balancing act, right? Like, how can I be organized and clear, but also vivid and surprising at the same time? And that's the real trick with both of these things. And you need to think a lot about your audience. Who is this for? What types of messages resonate with them? What type of tone to the words, what type of visual style is going to work for this audience? So the first thing I'm going to talk about is Animoto, and Eli alerted me to this. One of the many wonderful things about Animoto is that it is completely free to nonprofits. It's also very easy to pick up how to use it and start working with it. It's not, I would say it's not a full-blown animation tool, in that what it's doing is taking photos that you have and animating them so that it becomes sort of like a slideshow with some nice tricks to it. But what it does do is it has that combination of motion and music that works with our brains and gives you a really memorable message. So I'm not gonna read every word of these slides. You guys will be getting the deck later. Cons to Animoto, it's, I looked at some of the examples on their website. Oh, I know what I'm missing. I am missing showing you guys an example of it. Let's do that. Let's show you what it looks like before I talk about it a whole lot more. So here is their page where they're talking about how they do free to nonprofits. And here's an example of American Cancer Society working with Animoto.
Clock's going off again. You're screaming in a telephone. Wish you were somewhere else. Maybe I should just move out into the States, some suburb of a town somewhere in North Dakota. Got an idea and a map, $2 and a photograph of a kid. It's me, I'm under a dinosaur blanket in my old house. I like it, it makes me smile. Song, singing to myself, and nothing can go wrong. For a second I know the world's alright. It's alright.
So that's the general type of thing that you can do with Animoto. And like I was saying, some of the pros: costs nothing whatsoever if you're a nonprofit. If you are not a nonprofit, it costs $5 a month or $36 a year, and you have this great tool to play with. Some of the cons, the primary audience for this product initially, a lot of what you see them promoting on their website is families. Oh, okay. And I feel that for use by a nonprofit, that's really, in a way, what you're doing. You're really using it to interact with your constituents, with your family that are kind of already on board. Because, like I said, what it gives you, it's better than a slideshow. It's better than putting a bunch of pictures on Flickr and saying, hey, go to Flickr and check these out, because you can definitely steer people towards the specific pictures you want them to see. You have music to set the mood. You have these little text clips in there. But I wouldn't use it like as something that's a key part of a campaign. I wouldn't necessarily have like a call to action or a donate button where you're going after significant donors with something like this. And because it's limited to working with either photos or video clips of 10 seconds at most, yes.
Sorry, quick question. How do you handle the copyright with all the music? And how do you select music to put on some, like, these animations?
That actually takes quite a bit of research. There are various free resources out there, and some of them are better than others. And Chad.
So Animoto actually has a
oh yes, that's true too.
So you don't have to be creative. They've actually picked some music and a license and use some of that with it. In terms of posting something to YouTube, artists can actually choose whether they say, okay, screw you, you plagiarized me, make it take down, or they can actually get a royalty cut from YouTube. So sometimes you can just do it and not ask permission, and the artist actually gets paid. It's the magic of licensing with Google. So that's kind of the risk. But Animoto has like a music library.
That's this is the last question for a little while. I want to do a Q&A period for all of us at the end. Yes.
Incompetech, INCOMPETECH.com. Incompetech has free music that you don't even have to license. So you know.
Say it one more time.
David, can you tweet that with the hashtag?
I will try to.
Live forever and ever in our knowledge base.
Incompetech, INCOMPETECH.com. He's a guy online. He likes giving out music. He takes donations for it. So something that you might want to do.
That's there are two others that I like working with sometimes are free play music. I can't remember at this moment. It's .com or .org, but it's all one word, free play music, and ccmixer.com. All of these, they're free, but they take a lot of time because what type of music you use has a huge impact. And boy, going through them in search of, but anyway, there's a bunch of resources for that. One of the things I was pointing out about this one, it does have a whole bunch of music that comes with it. What it doesn't have is the ability to put in music and voiceovers separately. I haven't really seen anybody doing voiceovers with these. It's kind of, it's in a way, though, I feel like the limited choices on Animoto are one of the things that's great about it for a lot of nonprofits, because when I'm talking, so here's a screen cap of some of the options you have when you're playing with it, and you can barely see any of the words at all, but basically there's your pictures. You could rearrange them. You can do a little bit of like hold on this one for a bit longer. You can rotate them. You can do some things like that. You can't really change what type of transitions it's using. And it actually sets the pacing to match the music. It analyzes the music in some way and does the pacing for you based on that, which is cool in the sense that, like I was saying here in terms of what it's good for, basically the options are limited. You actually cannot knock yourself out creating an Animoto. You can go up to 10 minutes with them. If you're making like a 10-minute one, yes, you could knock yourself out. But in a lot of ways, it's like the point-and-shoot version of creating something animated. I think that it's excellent for getting people excited about an event beforehand with some sort of pictures. It's excellent for keeping the enthusiasm about an event going afterwards by, instead of throwing out a Flickr set, call people's attention to pictures of significant people who were there, or like the really best shots of the people that you serve having a great time. Could be great for volunteer recognition, some sort of low-key donor recognition. And of course, if you're into cultivation strategies over time, I was saying I don't think that you would want to make the ask with one of these. But it would be one more touch, right? If you're using like that 7-touch strategy or any number of strategies that are out there for how many times you have to contact a donor before you would consider making an ask, then sending something like this to them, you know, to remind them of your organization, get them a little bit excited about an event where they had a good time or whatever, that could be a great way to do it. Or for that matter, to help them share in an event where they couldn't be there for whatever reason, but to still see, you know, this is an event where we were doing our job, that we were doing the type of thing that you give to us for. Oh, and another thing I thought could be fun to do with this, again, working closely with your constituents and for people who are into the whole managing a community. If you already have a community that's doing a lot of photos or some of these new things with really short video clips from their phones, you could say, hey, could everybody please chip in, you know, some pictures, some little videos, et cetera, and then you make an Animoto out of all this stuff that was contributed by your community. And so lots of people get to feel kind of excited, not just to see themselves, but to see, oh, hey, there's the picture I took. There's the video I made, you know, in the mix. So my final take on Animoto, is it worth it? Yes, absolutely. If you're a nonprofit, it's free. Go for it. Great way, you know. A lot of people are already doing things like putting Flickr sets online. And as I keep saying, I think that this is definitely a big step up. And you can still have the Flickr set online for the people who want to look at every picture or want to look at every picture of themselves and go, oh my God, my hair. You know, you can still have that. You could have one of these as well. It's probably going to take somebody on your staff like an hour and a half to put it together. So the next thing I want to talk about is VideoScribe. And this is not free. The cost is about $25 a month or $185 a year or $600 for life. And I will show you one of these before I go on any more about it. And this is one that I made because what we're talking about tonight is just like some tools that you could use, how to use them, when to use them. We're not talking very much about all of the decisions that go into making a video.
There'll be 6 months of those events. It's going to be amazing.
Exactly, exactly, because we're going to have this 6-month series that deals with some of those issues. But I thought that I would make this little video that kind of begins to introduce them. And this is interesting. How do I get it to like fit on our screen?
Play and double click, play and double click. Wow.
Nice, thank you.
Is that your hand?
You can put your hand into their program, but that's just the hand that came with it. And this is one of the tunes that came with it. They have a very large music library built into Animoto as well. Ah, what was that about? Oh, okay.
So did that take you 6 months?
That's, it took a couple days. That's, and all images come from their included libraries in that one. You can easily, actually I wouldn't say easily, that's not true at all. There are ways of adding your own custom images to videos, to the VideoScribe product. I wanted to make one that used just the images that come with it and the music that comes with it. The only custom thing I added to that one was the little splat sound effect, because you can't talk about sound effects without throwing one in. Yes?
Can you use this with like Final Cut Pro?
I don't see why not. Now, they give you a 7-day free trial, and you can't save to very many different output formats with that. But once you're a paid member, you can save to, for example, a series of pings or JPEGs. That's or a QuickTime, and so you could, you can take any of those things into Final Cut Pro. I was thinking about taking it into After Effects and doing some stuff with it there. So another option for those of you who are into all the other types of software or want to hire somebody who's into all the other types of software, you could do, I did this on like a crinkled paper background look. You can do any color background you want. You could do a transparent background and mix this with live footage or mix it with cartoon animation or any number of other things and probably get some really cool hybrid looks that way. So this is what I was talking about with the pricing. The middle column is their US dollar pricing. We're pretty close to par right now, so do the math. I guess it's $189 rather than $186, but you get the idea.
Right, but I can subscribe for 2 months to get my project done, export, run away.
I believe that you could. I went ahead and shelled out for a year, but I'm pretty sure that you can, in fact, do that. There's in their Q&A, some people ask about, like, is my stuff going to disappear or whatever if I stop paying? And they basically said, no, it's just that you can't edit it anymore. That's, I do think the price on this is going to go up in the next couple of years. And I do think it's also possible that it's going to get overexposed in the next couple of years. This product is from the UK. It may be that some of their stock library characters are already overexposed in the UK, but I haven't seen them all that much here in North America. Yes?
How much, if any, artistic talent and drawing skills do you need to use it effectively?
Let me, let me see if I included a slide that shows a little bit of their stock library. I was considering it, and then I think, yeah, I didn't actually give that to you guys, but you can certainly get some idea if you do the 7-day free trial. I was very impressed with their stock library. And like I said, everything that you saw in that video, all the arrows, the cheering woman at the end, like the little, when I did story, I used 3 elements from their stock library, like a little park background and the lion and the mouse to put together the concept of some sort of story being told. There's quite a lot in there, and there's a free clip art library that they recommend going to for some other stuff, and then there's a program called Inkscape that they recommend if you do want to make your own images to bring them in there. Inkscape is kind of like a free alternative to Adobe Illustrator that I've just started playing with, and I really like it so far, but I can't say a whole lot about it at this point. So the answer to your question basically is if you want to totally customize it, if you want to do exactly what you want to do, you have specific images in mind, then you would need to be a good artist to pull that off, yes. Or work with a good artist. If you're kind of, like to make this, I had my decision points in mind that I wanted to show, but I was feeling a little bit flexible about how exactly I was going to illustrate each of those words, and I just wanted to get something done in time for tonight, right? And it was completely doable within the library that they have there. Lots of images of people and so forth. So I've got a long list of pros here. I won't try to mention every single one of them. I was just talking about how the images cover a lot of what you might need to do. They do have this large music library, and you can organize it from calm to heavy as you're checking out all the various sample tracks to see what they sound like. It's really easy to bring in music from somewhere else. I did that. They have a recorder built right in. I thought that was a nice feature. I was planning to bring in sounds from somewhere else, but if you want to do a voiceover, you can sit right there at VideoScribe and talk to your laptop, or if you're smart, you know, talk to a slightly better microphone or whatever, and it will just record you right then and there to do your voiceover on something. It has, like for each of the images that you work with, you can jump from that image to a little play button and say, play my video from here to see how it's coming along. So it doesn't have the full-blown editing features of something like Final Cut Pro, right? You can't move around really freely within this program, but for the type of lightweight program that it is, you can move around quite a bit. The whiteboard look is popular right now. Now, one thing you can't do with this, of course, is you can't get it to look more like full-blown animation. And so they've created a few features that are kind of moving in that direction. And if you start checking it out, you'll see in one of their sample videos, they have a stick figure that kind of dances around. But it's difficult to make something look animated if it has color. Their morphing feature, what it actually does is it like drops all the color off for a little while, and just the black lines morph into the outline of something else, and then the color fills in again. You know, so it's kind of a cross between whiteboard and animation when it does that. And then they've created a little rub out thing that you can download separately into your program, and it will erase, basically what it's doing is not really erasing something, but it's replacing it with the color of your background. So like if you have like I had the park with the lion and the mouse, if I tried to erase the lion, it would start taking out the grass underneath the lion as well and go right back down to the paper. But if you want to, you know, whiteboards, like I said, are very popular right now. If you want to create something that looks like a whiteboard, that's basically a series of static images. And the one little morphing thing I did in that video just saw was when it was first draft, and then like the lines were sort of moving out like a little, you know, hooray, firecrackers around first draft. I did that with the morphing feature. Another nice feature that you get with this one is, of course, that poster at the end. At the very end of the video, you saw sort of the poster version of the whole decision tree, and that, you know, whiteboards are very well suited to doing that, and then you have that as something that people can use to remember the whole thing. And you can use variable, you know, you can use a good deal of text in a whiteboard because people seem to stay fascinated. As long as that hand is moving, people are watching it. They expect a good deal of text on a whiteboard, so you can get away with longer text clips. I didn't on this one, but you can in general get away with longer text clips on a whiteboard type animation. Cons, this is a lightweight program from, I'm guessing, a mid-sized company. Not everything about it is perfectly designed. There were a lot of times when I was making this when I was frustrated because I had to, you know, commands were like hidden 4 or 5 layers down that I felt ought to be right up there on the surface for me to click. There wasn't any way to shift click or control click. Like the default was set to everything appears on screen for 30 seconds. And I couldn't just pick a whole bunch of things at once and say, please knock all of these down to 2 seconds each instead of 30 seconds each. I had to like go through one by one and do that. Because the whiteboard style involves drawing in every single item that you're going to use, it takes longer. Like if I had tried to tell this same story as a piece of motion graphics, I probably would have made it about a minute and a half long. And this was actually 3 minutes long. And I think it does a good job of staying interesting for 3 minutes, but a lot of people these days, they might not click on a video in the first place. They go, oh my God, it's 3 minutes long, forget it, I need to do my laundry here. You know, I need to look at this website over here. And like I was just saying, you can't have things appear, disappear, move, shift around. And once you start getting into custom images and custom soundtracks, you're sort of defeating the purpose of choosing a program that's reasonably priced and reasonably easy to use, right? Then you're getting into the learning curve on all of these other things that you want to combine with it. And so that's, you know, if people want to talk more about how to put this together with other tools and start making it customized, I'd be happy to talk about that sometime. But right now I'm trying to talk about it as kind of your mid-priced, mid-effort option. And of course, it's no longer mid-effort once you get into those.
Just a heads up, we're moving 5 minutes.
Oh, thank you. Okay. I'm going to leave this slide behind because I want to show you a little bit of my own move. Where? Or just, okay. Anyway, I want to show you some animation stuff, kind of to contrast with what you get from that. This is my first animated video, which I made for a community currency called Seedstock. I'm only going to show a bit of it right now, but if you're curious about community currency, I strongly encourage you to watch some more of it some other time. Let's just let it preload a bit. Do you use money? Have you ever thought that you could use some more? We can't help you get more of the usual stuff, but you can have more money if you use Seedstock. Seedstock is a community currency that users agree to value as $1 both when they spend it and when they earn it. Let's back up just a little to explain this. What is wealth, really? In the end, real wealth is in the goods and services we exchange, the objects that we make or gather or grow, and tasks we've learned to do well. That's the real wealth of the economy. The products and services we exchange. And money? It's really just a system of tickets we use to decide how to move the real wealth around. It's just a counting and allocating system. Numbers that tell us how much of the real things we can expect to have someday. Any system where a commonly recognized form of money is used to move real wealth can be called an economy. Right now, there are over 100 different government-backed currencies in the world, and all of them can be exchanged with one another. That means when you spend a Canadian dollar, you're participating in a network that includes just about everyone on the planet. When you spend Seedstock, on the other hand, you're spending it in a network of businesses and people in your community who've chosen to participate. It's a much smaller network. You might say it's the ultimate form of buying local, because that dollar will always circulate within the community. So that's like, you know, there was using a lot of voiceover in that one. That one it wasn't a video that was designed to get people to sign right up or make a donation. That was a true explainer video where my client had a product that people were having a hard time understanding. They were, you know, a lot of times when they made presentations, people would be saying like, okay, but I still don't get it. I still don't get how it works. I still don't get why I would want to do this and so forth. And what they're telling me is that now when they make a presentation, they open with this video, which is about 4 minutes long. And then when they go into the Q&A, they're still getting a lot of questions. It's not like people are ready to sign up instantly, but the questions are more informed and more like, okay, so I know it does this and this and this, but if I was going to use this in my business, how would I use it? So that's another good potential use for animation, is when you've got something you're pitching that's a little bit harder to understand. And then I was talking about all these things you can't do in VideoScribe. VideoScribe is great at what it does, but I was talking about how you can't morph things, you can't make things appear and disappear. So I'm going to show you a very short clip, just a little thing. This is not a nonprofit thing. This is something I'm working on as kind of a funny little video for my own website that plays with some of the advantages of computer animation. That's okay. So I think I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the pros and cons of hiring somebody. I know we're trying to wrap up pretty quickly here. You guys will be getting my slide deck, and I have a fairly long list on my slide deck that you could use to think about that issue some more. And, you know, also, of course, I have my contact information if anybody did want to talk to me about possibly working with you on a video at some point. And the one other little self-promotion thing that I would like to say while I'm up here is that if you're interested in checking out VideoScribe, this is the only time that I've ever decided I like a product enough to do an affiliate link for it. If you are going to check out VideoScribe, I would love for you to get to their website through my website by going to onwards.net. And then under the animations menu, there's a menu item called products that I use and recommend. If you go to VideoScribe through there to try their 7-day free trial, it won't cost you anything extra, but if you do in fact sign up, I get 20% finder's fee, and you know, that's so I did want to be clear about, you know, honest that I am now to some extent promoting this product, but I've tried to give you a really fair presentation as to the pros and cons of that product.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Thank you.